in because like I don't even remember them having like a bunch of different venues. Like it's like literally just like one rock venue, and here's the David Lee Roth version of Van Halen being really bad, and it was just like, dude, why even? Like that was clearly one they were like making it, and they were like, oh crap, Guitar Hero's not selling well. Get it out. And then they still came out with a couple more Guitar Hero games because they're Activision and they just beat a dead horse. Like, Trev, did you play Warriors of Rock like at all? Dude, here's
I tried it. There was like a real copy?
I guess there was.
Oh, like later.
Yeah, but like I said, mine was like an early or whatever. I don't even know if I think I have it over there.
Anybody like?
But here's the worst part. Ben might remember
like
this.
This is for the 360, but like that it came in.
It's kind of like that. They brought out a game, Activision, right? The one that was screwing it all up.
Yeah.
Called Guitar Hero Smash Hits, right? Yeah. Where it was a lot of the amazing harmonic songs from Guitar Hero 1 and 2, just on their new and crappy system. What do you call it? Engine. On their new engine. So like songs from Guitar Hero 1 that you like, Cowboys from Hell, where you're like, this is iconic, right? It's like, enjoy this version on our worst engine, and the only reason you wanted to play it is Guitar Hero 1 didn't have hammer-ons and pull-offs, so you had to literally, unless you did a very specific way, had to strum everything. So for Cowboys from Hell, you're like, ticka, 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 and it's different, right? So you're like, oh, Cowboys from Hell with hammer-ons, sweet. And then it's just like charted like ridiculous, where you're like, this isn't right. This isn't right at all. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You just, it's like when you task someone who doesn't really care with doing something and you see the results, you're like, I'm not happy with this. Yeah. Like, that's pretty much it. Anyway, that was a very, very long answer for mine. Ben said Star Fox Adventures. Yep. Trevin Parker. Oh, Jesus, Trev, if you can't remember one, I remember one from you. You didn't buy it?
Question of the park.
Here, Trevor, I'll give his unless he remembers another one. He didn't buy this, but he took it home on day of release. You played it with Brandon.
Oh, Raccoon City.
Resident Evil Raccoon City, which, by the way, we had a midnight release for because it was like
I remember having a midnight.
It was still at the time when like, well, first of all, I didn't have kids, so I could do midnight releases whenever. But
it was before 6, but it was after 5.
So Resident Evil was still killing it because we all love 5. Like 5 is still good, you know. So Trevor got it. We were like, co-op, another co-op, whatever, like awesome. And Trevor and Brandon played it a little bit at the store and then took it home and like beat it that evening. Wow. And still had time to like go to bed.
We did, yeah. It was like 3 hours long.
So they were like, all right, we're home now. Let's play. Oh, we're done.
Wow, that's horrible.
So I can't imagine buying the game for $60 and being like, are you serious?
It's like $5, and at $5 it's still like.
And then after that, Resident Evil was like...
Oh, Tiff is talking, I guess. And Barrett with an awful voice actor.
Oh!
Cloud. It's been a while.
Wow.
Is Cloud gonna talk?
And then afterwards...
Sid's airship.
Whatchamacallit?
We lost contact about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it sounds like Cloud.
I don't think we have to worry though.
Dude, he's so based.
Those two should be fine.
So, it sounds more like
What about you?
Chris Redfield.
After Raccoon City, they were like, "Oh, you complain Raccoon City's too short, huh? Here's Resident Evil 6, the longest game of all time."
You'll be desperate for it to be short.
That's just being a butthole. Like, oh, is this too fast, huh? You want it to be longer, huh? How about 3 quests, bro? 3 quests sounds great in a good game.
So the only other game this guy, the director of this game, directed is the Dragon Ball Z game from '93. Wow. I guess it's like a fighter?
What are you talking about?
Parker.
The only other game this director directed.
What?
Oh.
For Dirge of Cerberus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this could be the rarest thing to ever exist for the PS2.
I haven't found anything of it yet.
No one would ever care. I forget exactly how you did it, but it was something about...
Probably like the same weird way you got the Rage Wars cart.
Dude, so it says specifically on the back, 19 scorching guest acts including, and it specifically lists these like they're the best, right? Dope Nose by Weezer, Pretty Fly for a White Guy, Billy Idol
Gosh.
White Wedding, Blink-182 First Date. Like, that's literally, they're like,
You go pretty
we
fly for a
got Blink, we got First Date.
You got pretty fly for a white guy, right? I mean, gosh, of all the Offspring songs, that's the one you choose?
Dude, I would not
That's
be surprised.
because Rock Band, at the same time, had, what did they have in Rock Band 2? It was,
I would
You gotta
legitimately
keep
not be
them separate.
surprised if they had some music licenses laying around for songs that they licensed and then ultimately scrapped for other games. And they're just like, we have these music licenses,
Yeah,
what should we do?
choose it.
Oh, just pad out this dumb game that we didn't try on.
So, Trevor knows this full and well, but if you want to see the most comprehensive list of DLC in the entire world, get Rock Band 4 and go to the songs available for download. There are literally like 2,500 songs. Like, they brought out anywhere between 3 to 10 at a time every week. Do they still do them, or are they done?
They do them very
Like once in a while.
I would say they release a couple songs a month now.
Probably from 2009 to probably 2015. 3 to 10 songs, because once in a while they would have a full album. They would be like, Pearl Jam's 10. Like, so that's 10, 12 tracks, right? And for years, right? And it's just like, and it got to the point where, like, our friend Eric Tribio, his brother was getting, like, most of the songs. Like, just like every week he would, you know, single dude,
Now,
whatever.
like-
He's
now,
like,
like-
let's just download them all, kind of thing. But it gets to the point where you're like, wow, every week it's like $25,
Yeah.
you know, like whatever.
So, me and Spencer didn't get a PS3 until, like, after Rock Band 2, and, like, the only Rock Band that I got, like, into for the current generation at the time was Rock Band 3. But I was playing that with Brandon at the time, like, so much. And overall, just, like, week after week, I would probably spend, like, 20, 40, 50 bucks on songs. And we would do that for, like, 2 years. And I probably spent, like, $2,000 on DLC for that game.
That's insane.
And I would never take it back.
Can you still play it somewhere? Like, besides that? Like, is there a newer version?
Oh, you can transfer pretty much all the songs to Rock Band
That's
4.
Harmonix was super cool. Like, every time you got a new version, they're like,
All
hey,
your songs.
I remember for
In
Rock,
fact,
for Rock Band...
I've been playing Rock Band, like, recently again.
For Rock Band 2, when it came out, they were like, I think there was a code you got with it or something like that you're like, hey, you bought it new, put in this code and you'll be able to transfer all the Rock Band 1 songs.
Yeah, it's like on the back of the manual.
It was a weird thing where it was like all of them except for Metallica and Iron Maiden because they lost the rights to them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't think it matters. I think you can get anything. But I remember it being a big deal, being like,
some DLC songs actually got removed, probably because they're too expensive to keep the rights for.
oh dang,
Like, I know, like, Toxicity was removed, and you couldn't, like, import that if you had, like, it downloaded for the DLC, which sucks. There's a couple other songs like that, but it's not a whole ton. But I know, like, there was other ones that were really weird. Like, they removed some, what's the band called? Black Hole Sun, what's the band?
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden. They removed Spoon Man and Black Hole Sun
Weird.
by...
Oh, that sucks.
But they added it later for DLC, but you had to buy it again.
Weird.
Like, Black Hole Sun
So
was
at
a
least-
song on Rock Band 2, like, normally.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like a
But you
DLC.
had to buy it again.
Yeah. I mean, I would, if, like, the rights were expensive and, like, the only way they could have done that
Yeah,
is doing
yeah,
that,
that
I
makes
would have appreciated that option for, like, Toxicity rather than nothing.
Right, yeah. Well, it makes that completionist, you know?
Could you imagine?
Every collector be like, oh, man.
I have every DLC Rock Band song.
Septos is...
I don't know if you guys saw, Trevor said it in the group chat the other day. So, Guitar Hero 1, if you use, we're talking 2000...
Floor 33?
No, there's a stupid submission where you shoot down the floating...
These things floating or...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's 100 of them or 99.
Oh my god. So we're talking 2005, right? If you had a Game Shark, you could specifically find 2 hidden tracks, right?
Right.
There's one called Graveyard Shift. Like, there's 2. The first is called Triple Eddy, which became kind of a meme in the community because it was just so hard, especially since you had to strum everything. It was like just crazy, right? So it was like a sign of, wow, you're really skilled. And there's another song called Graveyard Shift, which is barely a song. Like, even the artist says unknown. It says Graveyard Shift by Unknown, right? And it's so bad. Like, I love bad music, but even I think it's so bad. So
like, they added Triple Eddie, like, I think during Rock Band 3 did.
Yeah, they, like, acknowledged it and everything. We're like, hey, you want Triple Eddie? Like, hey, old school guys, right? They just recently released Graveyard Shift. This terrible song. like, after no one cares about Rock Band anymore, they're like, hey, remember Graveyard Shift? Like, the only person who knows Graveyard Shift is, like, super hardcore people like us that were like, yeah, I kind of went out of my way to search for any hidden tracks, you know, whatever. It's just like, what do you do? It's like, Rock Band 4 barely exists.
I will say that it was in, they had like a Harmonix pack, and it was literally free. And there was like 5 or 6 songs in there, and it was part of that.
Wow.
So it's not like you spent money on it.
Right, but still, like, the fact that they were like, hey!
But it is
it's
really
like,
weird.
What?
Dude, I literally search you. I know no one cares anymore, but I search YouTube to try to find that on Rock Band, and there's not a single instance of someone being like, hey, I full comboed it, check it out. Like, nobody cares anymore, unless it's like,
what are these dudes?
unless it's like the hardest song of all time, I guess. Dude, that's how I feel the speedrun community, like, in certain ways will get eventually, because, like, we used to follow on this website called Score Hero, and there was a time with Guitar Hero 2, there was a lot of songs that no one ever 100%ed. So it was a huge deal when someone, like, 100%ed Freebird, you're like, what? Or someone had, like, 98% Freebird, you're like, dude, that's crazy! But now if you go on that website, and again, we're talking a game that no one cares about anymore, there's, like, 200 people that 100%ed Freebird,
right.
And you're like, okay. And then they came out with stuff like, what's the last song on GH3? Like Devil Went Down to Georgia, which is just insanity. Like it's just so it's like,
I mean,
right?
the most definitely like famous example is the Buckethead song.
Yeah, Jordan by Buckethead on Guitar Hero 2, and that was a song that was so hard that even Trevor and I, who were very good, could barely beat it. Because
like not just get it, whatever, but beat it.
I think I never got a 5-star on that ever once. But like the thing is, like, it's so nonsense. You know how Buckethead uses a bunch of, like, wah pedals and whatever, but imagine if you just took every weird thing and made it an actual note. That's what it is.
And, like, he plays, like, a guitar that literally has buttons on it, and he just, like, with that.
But they like, it was, you know, it was an extra track, so it was, like, a joke. So, but, like, to play it at 100%, it means you literally have to be so good. You have to strum with your elbow and be double tapping with all your fingers and everything. But the thing is, like, literally, if we went to it right now, there would be like 300 full combos of it. It's like,
crazy.
And you're like, well, it's not fun anymore. Every single song's been 100%ed. Oh, Dragon Force. When Dragon Force, Through the Fire and Flames was finally done, we were
that's
like
7-8 minutes long too. So
and there's got to be 50 to 100 people who have done it at this point.
I remember when there was like a video of a kid doing it. It's like, whoa, that's crazy.
But, like, you know, that's kind of how I feel sometimes with speedrunning, where it's like, Mario Brothers 1, so many people do it, and they're like, I have the world record by 100 milliseconds. It's
and
like,
I lost it in one day. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Where you're like, I guess you get to a point where you're like, how far are we, you know? Anyway, sorry about the no Dirge Cerberus talk. I apologize. I was in a GH mode.
Literally, like, nothing happened.
Sid yelled a lot.
You have constant 420. Oh, no, that one was different.
Jeez!
He has a second form, which is actually impervious to gun.
This isn't even his final form.
I'm still trying to think of an answer to the original question of the podcast.
I gotta say, in all honesty, I really miss that period of games with Guitar Hero and Rock Band. It was so just awesome to, like, just be like, hey, everyone get together, let's play some Rock Band. Like, obviously we still can, but it's not like the time.
Obviously that is a combination of that era plus also where you were in your life. I mean, you weren't like a billion responsibilities.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So like that definitely goes along with it. I mean, like if the heyday of or Guitar Hero games was now, you'd be like, I hate those games. Because I hate everything, because everything sucks.
Did I ever tell you how we won this?
Won it?
Yeah.
No.
Alright, cool. So the Ion drum set was like a $250 drum set, right?
Yeah.
So one day Eric Trivio was like, hey, my brother's trying to enter this contest because like his one friend worked at GameStop, right? It was through
That's
GameStop.
quite a second form.
That's
intense.
Yeah, he is literally invulnerable. Wow.
Yeah, you're.
So I'll try to make this short. Anyway, so Eric Trivio invited us over. His brother played drums and he was really good. Right. Trevor and I switched out on Trevor, I, and Eric switched out on guitar and bass. Like, there's certain things I was better at, and there's certain things Trevor was better at, like solos and whatever, right? And then his friends sung, which, as we all know, you could just kind of hum to. You don't have to actually sing. But he was very good at, like, hitting it, right? And we probably spent 2 evenings. It was 3 specific songs that it was like a 3-song set list that you try to get the best score on, right? It was Round and Round by Rat. Alive by Pearl Jam.
And a Red Hot Chili Pepper song.
Was it Under the Bridge?
I don't think they had Under the Bridge.
I gotta give it to you.
Yeah, it's that one.
Suck my kid.
No.
No.
The one. The
Give it away.
famous one.
Give it away.
Yeah.
All right, so it was those 3 songs, right? And we spent so long doing on it.
No, I thought it was a song off Stadium Arcadia.
No, it
No,
was.
Hey-O.
No, but this was a very specific like set list that they made,
Oh.
like for the contest, right?
Okay.
And I didn't really quite understand like the rules of it, but in general we were just like, let's hang out and play, like it's fun, right? If we win, we win. And the prize was a iron drum set, and we were like, dude, Eric, we're just happy to help you. We can give it to your brother. He's so good at this, right? Like if we win. So we tried over and over again, and we got to a point where we just couldn't do it anymore, and we were like, I don't know, like 11th or 12th place, something like that.
I think we were in the.
So how did it work? Like you would just get on the leaderboard, and whoever was
They
in
like
first.
they like invited you or whatever,
Gotcha.
and like you would do the leaderboard, right?
Okay.
And we could see it. We'd be like, dang, these people in first are so good. And the thing was, we were very good. Like his brother barely missed, we
Right.
barely missed. It was tough. So it was the top 5 won, right? And we were like, we just got to the point where we're like, guys, we tried, but like we're just not good enough. It is what it is, right? So like we go about our time and whatever. And then I forget if like Eric messaged us or like whatever, but he was like, dude, we actually ended up winning because not everyone that was on that list was in the contest. We were like 2nd place the whole time. We could have quit whenever because all the top other 10 people were like not part of this thing. So like we easily won, right?
Wow.
So we were like, dude, that's so awesome. Like your brother's gonna like, be so happy. Then
Stabbed with his own gun.
Then later, we found out that we all won an iron drum set.
So 4
iron drum sets.
My God.
So like we were both still living at home, and that's all that at the time. And like the setup, like we couldn't use a drum set. Like it wasn't like here where I can be like I have a basement or whatever. It was like my dad would be like, stop that drumming, whatever. Because this is what 8-9 years ago. So I think the one I gave to Ben. Or did I give it to? What did we do with the one? Because you and I both had one. The one's here. But the other, do you have the other one?
I think we only had one, and we gave it to Ben, who gave it to what's his face.
No.
You gave it to Kevin, right?
Don't you have? Or is this yours?
I have a drum set at home, but it's not Ion. It's like an actual like electronic drum
right.
set.
Intriguing.
Then where the hell did I get the? Anyway, this is from the
It's
the
Ion.
thing.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
This is from the thing. I just don't remember if like
I thought that's the one.
maybe
that-
Eric gave me his eventually. Like we were just so happy to win, but like I had no idea when I was moving out, and it's huge. I mean, the box was like.
Yeah, I remember it was.
So I think we
quite a
played Rock
hassle,
Band a
actually.
lot at Ben's house, and we were like, dude, you want it? And then Ben eventually was like, hey, Kevin, do you want it? A family friend, we can
Yeah.
we can say. And I guess Kevin probably sold it eventually
yeah,
or whatever.
I
But this might be Eric's. Eric might have been like, I can't play anymore or whatever. I have an apartment now, or I don't know, something like that.
my wrist can't take it.
Yeah. But, yep,
Is he
that
wearing a
was.
suit?
Vincent.
This
Yes.
is in the past. This is a
Just a little
flashback.
longer.
They don't really allude to that. Or
Oh,
like,
no,
really,
but
like-
he's in a it's not suit wearing environment.
Yeah.
That's
Nice
what we're getting at.
scrunchy. And then she dies.
What's
Oh my god.
wrong with me lately?
But it was funny we were so when we found out we easily won, we were so
That's
happy and
hilarious.
bad at the same time. We were like, we won, dude! We spent like 5 hours. We literally could have played it once and won.
And won.
Like we were
That's
pretty
amazing.
good, but it was just like, no, we got to get better, and we were getting frustrated and being like I would miss one time, and Trevor would be like,
Really?
come on. Because we're talking, it's 15 minutes. It's 3 pretty long songs.
Right.
And Alive is like I would feel so bad if I would miss a bass note, because Eric's brother was there being like, on Alive, the drums are crazy. He was like, near the end with the solo, and we were like, oh God, please don't miss, because his brother's just going, like, bawling out over here.
That's amazing.
But yeah, that was one of those where you're like, really?
That's hilarious. Nice. Nice game.
Oh yeah.
It's so great.
Is this
Oh my
Gas or
God,
Hojo?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Hojo.
Let's see. How long have I been playing? When
I
found
like-
out there
oh,
was
it's
a mobile
Hojo 'cause
version,
of the-
I was
Oh, that's awesome.
It's all over.
I got to admit that
300 hours.
that sounds exactly like I think Hojo would sound.
Yeah, it's an actual good
I'm still doing
cast
it.
game.
Yo, I told Ben about an RPG a week and a half ago, and he's put 300 hours into it. Because it's a behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's one of
whatever.
those like idle games.
Yeah, it's
that,
just an idle game that
Yeah.
you can leave running, but it's still funny when you call it. Yeah, I just put 300 hours in this RPG.
so stupid. I don't know why I do.
It's
I
so
just
great.
need that constant
I did
drip
100% it at work. Like I would log in every day
Yeah.
to the browser one and like update all my stuff.
Yeah.
And then leave it running while I was at work. And I did finally get every single thing that I could get, and then just was like, all right, finally I'm done. And then just closed it. Closed the tab.
Close the tab forever.
I got to admit, that is my... Nowadays, just when you're older, it's like harder to find a game that you're like, I'm really into this. So like South Park was the last game I was really into. And like the whole time you're like, I'm really working towards this 100%. But once you finally 100% it, that feeling of being like, well, what do I do now? Like,
yeah, you hit that wall.
it's like an existential, like,
Yeah.
I can do anything, but I want to play this game some more.
Right.
But I don't.
Because it just keeps ramping, and then and then it's just like, falling back to normal.
This game is so good though, because it's giving me that like constant drip of like, hey, you're getting somewhere.
Oh, you did it!
You're progressing.
Yeah, it's got just enough.
You're
but
achieving
not like
something today.
The thing that always sucked about idle games is that it has that, and then it reaches a point where you have to wait like 1 billion hours for each thing.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, like, I always felt like it had a steady flow of
Yeah.
like stuff that you felt like you were doing.
There's, I mean, what was it? Like Farmville was probably like the first,
Right.
not necessarily
Ooh.
idle game, but
Yeah,
like
but
after a
basically,
certain
yeah,
point,
basically
it's
it's
like,
an
yeah.
idle game.
And then just like on mobile, there's so many of them.
Well, talk about mobile games. A game that I've been playing just hit its first year anniversary. I've been playing since the first day.
That
you
one
kept
you were
doing
playing
it.
at AGDQ?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'm gonna say that if it's been a year, I've probably put. I'm gonna say probably close to 1,000 hours into it.
Oh, okay. I think you were gonna say dollars.
That's how you win the mobile games.
Because there's some days when you log in and you only play for like 20 minutes, but
Yeah.
then when like they just released like a new chapter like a couple days ago, and I played it like 5 hours yesterday.
That's hilarious. Is there, and there's like a pretty decent.
Yes!
There's a pretty decent online community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can like always be looking stuff up and reading about it or whatever.
If there was no community for it, I wouldn't play it because
Yeah.
that's half the fun.
Yeah.
Oh god, I hate looking at communities.
Levels.
I mean, that's
So,
not
What's
strange,
the name of
but-
that game? That mobile game?
Fake Grand Order.
Fate.
Fate.
Grand Door.
Grand Order.
Hey, check out the Fate Grand Order Discord. I'm sure it
Oh,
exists.
there's 100%.
Oh my
It
god.
actually exists because I mean I used a community that's on 4chan, and the 4chan community of that game hates the Discord community.
Ah,
And it's
that's
like,
great.
What a
There's
surprise!
fights between these niche communities.
Love it.
That's my favorite
So
thing.
no, that
We hate those guys.
that's all of online.
Pretty much.
So,
but like, it's funny when it's such a specific thing.
Yeah.
Like this one game.
so unfortunately, I was hoping that the cutscenes were gonna be a lot longer, but I only had up to here.
Alright,
done.
that's
so we're done.
I mean, that was a good part.
See ya, guys!
And I would do this part, but I remember when I was playing this a year or two ago, this level is actually really annoying.
That looks like the
confusing.
AV cart they used to push into my school classroom.
What, this?
That tall thing.
Yeah, it's got the tube TV on it.
What
We
if
said
Shinra
it-
was controlling all the schools?
Boys,
Yeah. I went
hey,
to school in Shinra,
for us
you know?
older people, you remember when you saw that cart and you were like, "No work today!"
Yeah!
Like literally, you saw the TV, you're like, "Yes!"
Alright, we
Dude.
spoke a lot about this game. This part, but
There
we'll
wasn't a
see
lot
you all
going
next
on.
time.
See ya.